Hey everyone, welcome back to another session of the Relaxing Fertility Yoga sponsored by the Fertility Partnership. So my name is Julie Ela Grace and I'm honored as always to have you here, so welcome. Excuse me, as some of you know, I'm currently in Portugal where I work at a retreat, so it's a slightly different space than my home, and I did this spinning class that's here today, and I had COVID last month, and that I have that little asthma kind of feeling, so forgive me if I cough or clear my throat every now and then. So yeah, again, welcome back to another session. Again, because I'm in Portugal right now, we're not doing the live Zoom session, which I then usually add to YouTube, but it's just straight up on YouTube today. However, next week we will be back together live on Zoom. So if you like coming to those Zoom classes on Thursday evenings, 5:45 UK time, feel free to sign up on my website, which is www.sanctuarygrace.com, and we will be together again next week. And obviously for those of you that can't make that session, please feel free to just enjoy the recording when I put it up on YouTube. Okay, so just a couple things to say as always. I really want to invite you to just use this space and time to nourish your body, to listen to your body, to just let yourself just shut off the mind as much as possible for an hour, and just give yourself the space to be. So often we live in shoulds, things we should have done, things we shouldn't have done. Things we should have known, shouldn't have known, how we should look, how we should feel, how we shouldn't look, how we shouldn't feel. And I just want to invite you to, if you notice a should, try to let it go and just come into what is. Because shoulds typically, especially if they're about the past, they're a form of resistance. And it's our resistance to something that usually causes our suffering. And if it's a should regarding now or the future, it's actually also a resistance, because right now is just exactly what it is. You're just here right now, and you're doing the best you can, and to be honest, you've probably always done the best that you could do. And so just please be gentle with yourself. This life is not a rehearsal. You don't get to do this day over again. So you might as well be kind to yourself, enjoy yourself, enjoy who you are and the light that you offer in the world. And everyone does. Everyone offers some kind of light and unique energy into the world. So I just really want to invite you to celebrate that. We're going to start with a centering and breathing, and in fact tonight I want to do a little bit more on the breathing exercises. So I'm going to go over some of the basics again, and if you're really familiar with them, it's always helpful just to remind yourself to drop in and check what your practice is like. And then we're going to just do some really gentle stretches. As you know, every class is different. Sometimes I will reference things particularly regarding the female body, because these classes are designed for women going through IVF, but of course you're welcome if you're at any point in your fertility journey, even if you haven't started IVF yet. And also these classes are safe for women up into their first trimester, but beyond that, partners are also welcome. So whether you have a male partner or a female partner, everyone is welcome to these sessions. And if you are able to do yoga with your partner, what a beautiful gift that is, hopefully for your relationship as well. So guys and girls, even if you're not doing the actual physical IVF process, again, you're totally welcome here and encouraged to join. So I think that's all. So again, we're going to start with the centering and breathing. If you are doing this on Thursday evening and you've been sitting at a desk all day, I do recommend lying down for the beginning of this. So if you lie down, you can either bend your knees and take the soles of the feet onto the floor, and then just extend the legs all the way, or let your back come all the way down. And then you can either keep your knees bent or you can extend the legs all the way out, just letting them flop and splay. Lying down is going to be a little bit easier on your hips and on your back. Again, if there are back sensitivities though, do bend your knees. So just find what feels right for you. And if you don't want to if you don't want to lie down, but you prefer to sit, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and either sit up tall or sit onto a bolster, just whatever you prefer and whatever feels right to you. Okay. And then once you find that starting position, either sitting or lying down, take a few rolls of the shoulders. So you're going to inhale, roll the shoulders up, and exhale them down and back. And again. And one more. And just relax the shoulders down. Relax the hands, either facing up for receiving energy or down for grounding energy. Okay. And once you have relaxed the shoulders, relax the hands, close the eyes. And take a few deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And then once you've sighed out a few times, just let your natural breath take over. And close your eyes. And just notice your breath and where it lands in your body. Notice what the breath can tell you about this moment in the body. Is the breath shallow? Is it deep? And whatever you find in this practice, just avoid judging it. There's no need to label anything about your experience as good or bad. Again, it's all just part of this moment now. Then from here, take the awareness, bring it to your face. And start to soften through the face. Relax the brow. Relax down along the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth. Loosen the jaw. Keep that awareness coming down and just notice your shoulders, and if you can relax and release the shoulders a little bit more. Likewise, can you relax and release the hands at all? And the fingers. What about your toes? Are you storing tension in your toes? And just bring the awareness back to your breath. And start to deepen the breath through the nose. Inhale through the nose, take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. Exhale back out the nose and feel the belly fall. And again, inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. Then deepen the breath further. Inhale through the nose, fill up, belly, ribs, chest, expanding all the way up through the inhale. Exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. So today, I want to go over some basic breathing things again. So, excuse me, yogic breathing is, the umbrella term for yogic breathing is known as pranayama. But then there are many types of pranayama. So what we're doing, this expansion through the three parts on the inhale, the contraction through the exhale, this is known as a dirgha breath. It's a foundational breath in yogic breathing, and it's a good place to start because we're combining diaphragmatic and thoracic breathing, really involving as much of the lungs as we can, bringing oxygen into the body. Now, if you find that as you inhale, you suck in, that is a condition known as reverse breathing. And that is a condition that is more common in women, and it's more common in stage performers. Of course, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen in men, and it doesn't mean it doesn't happen in non-stage performers. It's just, it's a subconsciously learned behavior where people suck in. So if you find that when you inhale, you actually pull in rather than expand out, I just want you to start to practice inhaling, expanding, exhaling, contracting. And this is just going to help that flow of oxygen in your body. And of course, our bodies thrive on oxygen. I was reading recently that there are even, there are some new studies coming out that even suggest that hyperbaric oxygen chambers could be useful in fertility. It's a very new type of therapy that people are looking at. And again, our bodies thrive on oxygen. So hyperbaric oxygen chamber, it's the thing that they use when, so divers don't get the bends if they come back up too fast. And it's also something that they use a lot now in treating symptoms involved with MS. And so, and again, now there's some new evidence to suggest that hyperbaric oxygen can have benefits also for fertility. So oxygen obviously is very important. We wouldn't be alive without it. So I want you to think of these breathing exercises that we're doing as something that you are doing to nourish yourself, but also nourish yourself at a cellular level just by taking deep breaths. Not only is it relaxing, but it's very good for your cellular body. So take a few more breaths here. And then we're going to add on, so we're also going to come into the ujjayi, or the ocean wave sounding breath. So some of you are familiar with this, so just come on in when you're ready. But for those of you that don't know what that is, the ujjayi breath involves a constriction in the epiglottis at the back of the throat. So I think the easiest way of explaining this is if you were to fog a mirror, you would hold that mirror out in front of your mouth and you would exhale. And if you were to reverse that fog, it almost sounds like becoming afraid. And it's tickly if you do that with the mouth open. But we can do that same fogging and unfogging of the mirror through the nose. So it almost has a scuba sound to it, doesn't it? So what we're doing here is, again, we're maintaining that constriction in the back of the throat, in the epiglottis, but we're still inhaling, filling up belly, ribs, chest, nice and slow, and then exhaling, contracting chest, ribs, and belly. So just start to practice that, especially if you haven't done it before. That being said, if you've had a sore throat recently, or if you've had COVID recently, because it seems like everyone has it at the moment, that might not be the right breath for you tonight. So just stay with the Dirga breath rather than come into that ocean wave sounding breath. And if your if your vocal cords activate, so if you kind of get like a humming, it just means you're constricting a little too much. And again, it's just something to practice. So let's take about 5 to 10 rounds of slow, deep breath here, just giving our bodies that oxygenated love. Take a couple more breaths here. And then start to mentally ready yourself for movement. And just in your own time, in your own way, draw some movement back into your body. Let yourself stretch, roll around, yawn, sigh. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, just whatever feels good to you. And again, for this session today, I really want to explore some relaxation techniques, just again, things that are going to nourish your body on a cellular level and physiologically calm everything down. So I'd actually like to start the physical movement with a vagus nerve exercise. And again, some of you, if you've been doing these sessions with me for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about. Others of you, this might be totally new. So I will just explain, those of you that have heard me say it before, it's just always good to jog the memory. So actually start to make your way up to seated. So before doing anything else, let's just come up to seated, and you can either sit up onto, again, a prop like a bolster or a cushion or a block, or you can just sit onto the floor. So find what feels right to you. Okay. And from here, again, we're actually just going to start with the most basic exercise that there is for the vagus nerve. Now, vagus is V-A-G-U-S, so not Vegas as in Las Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but vagus, V-A-G-U-S. And your vagus nerve is a cranial nerve that actually wanders all the way down through your body. It's the largest cranial nerve, and it actually even connects to your gut. And like anything, your vagus nerve can become conditioned to stress. So, for example, most of us have habits in the way that we do things physically. So when you stand, you might tend to stand more into one foot or into one part of the foot. When you carry a bag, if you carry a purse or a bag over one shoulder, you probably tend to do the same side. And that can cause imbalances over time as well. But again, we just become habituated to certain patterns. It's not even just left, right, dominant, non-dominant, unless you're ambidextrous, of course, but it's that we can become habituated to certain patterns and ways of doing things. So if you are highly stressed, your vagus nerve can become habituated or conditioned to being in that high stress state. So there are exercises that we can do that act as circuit breakers if there is a tension in the vagus nerve. What I find is about 2/3 of my clients respond to this exercise, and about 1/3, they don't really feel any difference with it. I taught it actually this morning at the retreat, and one woman had a total, like her shoulder, which had been really high up and tense, just relaxed after doing this very simple exercise. It was remarkable. But it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong if you don't feel anything. It might just mean that you're less stressed than the rest of us. Okay? So please don't worry if you kind of think, I didn't feel anything. It's okay. So what we're going to do is we're first going to just check in with some of the spots where we might be holding tension or stress. So what I would like you, and we're focusing on the neck and the shoulders here. So what I'd like you to do is sit up tall and then close your eyes and just turn your head to one side and notice how it feels, where there's tension. Does the shoulder come up? Do you feel it in the lower back? How far does the head turn? And then turn it back to center and over to the other side. And again, just become aware. Where are you feeling what? Where is there tension? How far does it go? What's happening in the shoulder and the back? And then take it back to center. Now, we're actually going to come down for the exercise. And the exercise involves your eyes, and that's it. Truly, that's it. It's an eye movement exercise, but it has to do with the nerves behind your eyes, how they connect to your C-spine, to your neck, just, our bodies are incredibly intricately connected. And so it's just one of these very interesting ways that, again, the body is connected. So we're going to come down, okay? And we're going to bend the knees and place the soles of the feet on the floor. And then interlace the fingers. I think you can see me. Okay. Interlace the fingers behind the head. And just take a moment to sigh out. And before we get started, just to say, sometimes you will get vasovagal responses as we do this exercise, which means you may feel like yawning, sighing, swallowing, taking deep breaths. Just allow it. So if you naturally yawn or sigh, that's great. That's totally fine. Just allow for any responses that come. Okay? Now, I want you to imagine that there is a puppet string. Excuse me. There's a puppet string from your nose to the ceiling. And we are going to keep that string nice and taut, not turn from side to side. So the head is staying straight. It's only the eyes that are moving here. Only the eyes are shifting around. Now, it's not like when you were a kid and your grandma, and you crossed your eyes and your grandma said, your face is going to get stuck like that. Don't worry, your face is not going to get stuck like this. If you haven't done it before, it can be uncomfortable. It can be really uncomfortable the first few times that you do it, but it's the same with any new movement in your body. If you suddenly, I took up violin a few years ago and it was really uncomfortable to figure out those positions. It's like anything. If you take up something new, your body has to adjust to it. So keeping your nose pointing straight up to the sky, I want you to turn your eyes out to the right corners as far as you can. And we're just going to hold it there for about a minute. Again, you can totally blink. Take your eyes back to center. And again, allow for any, there we go, any responses. All right, and now the eyes are going to go to the left. Again, face stays center. And take your eyes back to center. And again, just allow. Excuse me for any responses. Oh, then just go ahead and stretch out. And slowly bring yourself back up to center. And sit up just like you did before. So if you were sitting onto a prop, sit up onto the prop. Otherwise, just sit up onto the floor. And then from here, once you're sitting up nice and tall, close your eyes. Again, turn your head to one side. Notice how it feels. How does it feel in the shoulder and the back? Wow. And then take it back through center. And to the other side, of course, notice the neck. Take it back to center. So that's the second time that I've done that exercise today, and I can honestly say that I noticed even doing it a second time today, I experienced even more release. And again, a lot of this has to do with habituated patterns of stress. So if you found, so some people are really amazed by this, and again, some of you are like, nah, didn't do anything. For those of you that had a release with this, it's 2 minutes. You don't have to do the head-to-head thing each time. Literally lie down, 1 minute, 1 minute, and that's it. So do this once, twice, 3 times a day. Maybe you do it if you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe you do it before each meal. And it might just be a way of, again, bringing the stress levels down in your system, okay? And also it can just make everything feel a little bit better, right? The neck and the shoulders and everything. Wow, I realize I'm talking a lot today and that we're not moving as much, but these are all really important things that we're also looking at. So we're going to just do a little bit of very, very gentle movement today. If you are wanting more movement than what we do, there's a backlog of these classes on this YouTube playlist, so you're always welcome to access those. In the meantime, let's just say hello to the back a little bit. So sitting up tall, again, you can sit up onto a prop. So what I'm using is I'm actually sitting on one of these, but this red thing here is a bolster. Yoga bolsters are great. I'm not sure how much they cost these days, but my guess is that they're probably between about 30 and 50 pounds. If you really enjoy your yoga practice, highly recommend getting one of those. They're really lovely to sit on, and you can do restorative yoga on them. Anyway, more on that another time. So I'll teach a restorative fertility class actually one day, probably in June. I'll put one of those on YouTube. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, again, either onto a prop or just onto the floor. I want you to take your hands onto your knees, and we're just going to sit up tall and drop your awareness down into your lower abdomen and into your lumbar spine. So we're just coming right on down here, focusing on the lumbar spine. And imagine that you have a string coming out in front of you, wrapping around and coming back forward. And I want you to really just focus on this lower part of your spine, and you're just circling it around. So your upper body will move ever so slightly because it's directing it. But in fact, it's not a deep movement through the rest of your spine or through your shoulders or through your chest. And then go the other way. Just playing with the mobility of the spine a little bit here. And then start to take it higher. So you're going now into your thoracic, into your mid-spine. And go the other way. And start to take it up into the chest. So we're just starting to circle around a little bit more. And go the other way. Okay. Then take it back through center. Take your arms up into the sky, and now I realize my hands are going to disappear. So we're going to interlace the fingers and just leave the knuckles pointing up. So knuckles pointing up to the ceiling. We lift up tall, and then start to circle around here. And go the other way. One more. Then take it all the way to center and then turn your palms up. Take a big stretch up to the sky. And then unwind your fingers. Start to take your hands all the way down. And then if you are up onto a prop, just go ahead and slide off of your prop here. So if you're sitting up onto something, and then from here, let's just do it this way, okay? Take your knees out to the sides, draw the soles of your feet together and ground through your sits bones, okay? And then we're going to interlace the fingers over the toes, roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest, and traction up through the spine. So now you're working the inside of your groin, shoulders back, opening up, deep breaths. And then from here, take an inhale and exhale. Start to lean in a little bit. Start with a flat back. So you're taking your chest forward. Now, when we are opening up the hips, which is what we're doing here, sometimes the knees will try to overcompensate if the hips are not open enough to take the stretch. We want to avoid that. We want to keep our knees nice and comfy. So if when you're coming down, your knees start to hurt, take it back up to a place where the knees no longer hurt, okay? If it feels okay to your knees and to your back, you can come forward, 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 and then round down, taking your head down towards your toes, okay? Take another breath here. This is Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Okay. Inhale. lift the head, lift the heart. We are going to do something a little fun, but only for a split second. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold on to the big toes, or you can hold on to all of your toes. I want you to roll the shoulders back and then sit in, or lean into your sits bones. So you're pulling up through your core. This is a teeny tiny bit of abdominal work. Don't panic. It's not the kind that's going to do you any harm here, okay? And then from there, take your legs out and very, very gently let them come down, very gently. Okay? And then do the best that you can to take your legs wide, okay? As wide as they will go. And if you have sensitive knees, a couple things. So if you find one, that your knees are popping up and that this is what this looks like, that's okay. What you may want to do is pop something underneath them. So if you have like a yoga block or a yoga brick, that's something you can do. If you don't have that, hopefully you've got some kind of blanket, and you might be able to put a blanket underneath. And in fact, I have a slightly injured knee, so I'm just going to leave that there. You can put a blanket, you can fold the blanket, roll it up, put it under either or both knees. So again, there are so many ways of supporting the body. So please, again, take this as the opportunity of how can I love my body? How can I treat my body like my friend, the way that I would want my loved one to be treated, okay? All right, so legs wide. And then, oh, finally, one more thing. If you find that you're like way back here, it's normal. Sometimes people have really tight hip flexors, or there's tightness in the back, and they just end up kind of being like, eh. In which case, if that's how you're feeling, sit up onto a folded blanket, or up onto a pillow, or up onto a cushion. Maybe not a high bolster because it's going to take you too high, but just something that's going to elevate your sits bones a little bit. Okay. And now lift the arms up. Exhale, turn to face your, let's go left leg. And then bow down over that leg. Oh, jeez. And roll the hands back in towards the heart. Exhale, take it over to the other side. And take it side to side. One more to each side. Inhale, take it all the way back through center, okay? And we're going to take the arms up, flex the feet, turn to look to your left foot, and then exhale, hinge forward from that leg like you're giving a hug. Reach those left arms out. You should feel a very deep stretch moving through the back of that leg. Exhale, take your fingertips down. Roll the shoulders back. Open up through the chest. Take an inhale here. Exhale, walk it a little lower. If it feels okay to you, start to take the chin down towards your shin, or your head down towards your knee. So we're going for this very deep stretch through the back of the leg. There's so much to learn and so much to be said about the way that energy flows through the body, the way that our bodies store trauma. And there's so many different techniques and methods for working with that. But again, here we are saying hi to the back of this leg, and we're just breathing into that. And that is a very beautiful thing, because again, you're bringing oxygen in, you're giving a little attention, a little focus to this leg, you're letting things open up. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the heart, swing the arms up. And exhale, turn to the other side, and we hinge forward like we're giving a hug over that leg. And then we take the hands down and Oh, hello, hamstrings. We take the heart forward. If you're a runner or a cyclist, I'm going to guess you're also feeling this. I mean, you're probably feeling it either way, hopefully, but all right. And then again, you can take the head down towards the knee or the chin down towards the shin. We take deep breaths. Take your time with it. There's never any need to force things. Lift the head, lift the heart. And when you come back up, take your hands out in front of you, okay? And then we're gonna say hi to the inner thigh, okay? We walk it forward, and maybe this is as far as you're going to come. Maybe you're feeling it and that's the limit. Listen to that if that's the limit. If you want to take it further, walk down onto your forearms, or if you can, and if it feels okay, walk it all the way out, taking the forehead down. And we just breathe here, okay? So deep, deep breaths. Start to lift the head, lift the heart. Bring yourself all the way back up, and then, oh, good moment. Take the legs out in front of you. And then from here, I just want you to give your legs a little shake out. So we just shake it out, 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 shake it out. Okay, a couple more seconds there. Just gonna check the time. Okay, ooh, good Lord. Okay. Okay, and then once you have given your legs a little shake out, I want you to sit again. You can either sit onto a bolster, or something also nice, you can sit up against a wall. So if you don't have a prop, but if you're feeling a little tired, sitting up against a wall is a really, really lovely way of supporting the back. Okay? Now, I'm going to get closer again. Okay. So, again, we're going to come into one final breathing exercise today. So I realize, again, it's been a slower session. It's been much more about these more subtle layers with the breath, with the nervous system, and then just some of this movement in the back and opening of the legs. All important. You know, I feel like, and I don't know if that's being American, so I've lived in the UK for 15 years, but I'm still highly shaped by the first 22 years that I was in the United States. So I feel like American culture, at the very least, is kind of like this go big or go home culture. And sometimes the idea of being slow or being gentle, these things are not valued. And if you're someone that works in like a high-powered business environment, these things are often also not valued. And in fact, they're incredibly important. Getting enough sleep every night is so important, not just for our health, but if you're here because of fertility, getting enough sleep is just incredibly important. There's a really good book by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep. Sounds like it'd be really boring. Really good book, really interesting. Made me value sleep so much more. So again, just remembering that this is a physical body, and in the same way that, you know, you would allow a child, a cat, a dog, a friend, a partner to rest, and that you would feel happy that they were resting, keep giving yourself that same space, that same opportunity to slow down. And that's, again, really physiologically important as well as mentally. So, talking a lot today. Sitting up tall, we're going to come into one final breathing exercise that's known as Nadi Shodhana. It's an alternate nostril breathing exercise, and it's deeply calming. It's also, so in Ayurvedic medicine or traditional Indian medicine, they have points throughout the body called the nadis. It's very similar to the meridian lines in Chinese medicine. And this is believed to be a cleansing breath also for those points, those lines in the body. So we're going to sit up tall, relax the shoulders. Take a moment to sigh out. And then from here, come back into your deep breathing, either your Dirga or your Ujjayi breath. So if you can, come into that Ujjayi, that ocean wave sounding breath with the epiglottal constriction. If not, again, stay with that Dirga breath. So inhaling, expanding all three parts, exhaling, contracting. So we start there. And then from here, I'm not going to mirror you, so it will look opposite on your screen. Lift your right hand up like you're making an oath, okay? And then tuck your middle and index fingers in towards your palms. So then you have your ring and pinky and thumb sticking out, okay? And then you're going to take your thumb. If you've never done this before, I realize it's going to seem weird. Take your thumb and close your right nostril with it. Inhale that Ujjayi breath, or if you can't do the Ujjayi breath, it's okay, the Dirga breath. Inhale up through the left nostril. Close your left nostril with your right ring finger, and then exhale right. Inhale right. Close with your thumb and exhale left. Inhale left. Close with the ring finger and exhale right. Inhale right. Close with the thumb and exhale left. Inhale left. Close and exhale right. And I want you to keep this going. So you exhale, inhale, close, swap. Exhale, inhale, close, swap. So back and forth. And just go at the pace of your breath, the pace that feels right for you. Take a few more. And then when next you exhale out the left side, take about 3 to 5 rounds, release the hand, and take about 3 to 5 rounds of slow, deep, full breath. And then very gently, very slowly, just start to make your way down onto your back. And when you come down onto your back, just take a moment to stretch out, yawn, sigh. Just do whatever you need, whatever feels good to you. And then close your eyes. Allow them to become heavy, your eyelids to become heavy over your eyes. And just feel your body melting down. And just notice what it is to connect with the ground, to be held and supported by the earth. What is it to just let go into this moment? And start to deepen your breath. And draw some movement back into your fingers and into your toes. Roll to one side. And gently bring yourself all the way back up to seated. And when you come back to seated, just take your hands into prayer in front of your heart and offer the following words to yourself in your mind. In your mind, say, "May I be happy. May I always feel safe. May I be free. And think of a loved one of any kind, human, furry, or otherwise. Hold them in your heart. Say in your mind for them. May you be happy. May you always feel safe. May you be free. And then for this earth and all its creatures, may all creatures be happy. May all creatures always feel safe. May all creatures be free. And then gently bow, honoring your body, your light, your practice on this earth. And thank you all so much for coming this evening or whenever you're doing the session. Again, next week we will be live together, so feel free to sign up for that, and I will hopefully see you soon. I am just wishing you all well and sending you lots of love, and that's it. Okay, take care, namaste.